how do you have Confederate Park in Memphis, Tennessee?
Old wounds from the Civil War are being felt again across the state. Good evening, I'm Ann Holt.
And I'm Bob Mueller. A bill on Tennessee's Capitol Hill would ban renaming Confederate war sites and monuments.
It led Memphis to get ahead of the measure by renaming 3 parks tied to the Confederacy. And that action drew a promise from the Ku Klux Klan to hold a massive march in Memphis. News 2's Chris Bundgaard looks at what started all of this.
Tennessee State Rep Steve McDaniel is a Civil War reenactor and history buff. He has a bill to preserve any site or monument in U.S. wars, from the French and Indian to Afghanistan. No statue, park, or other site can be renamed, says the bill. This includes what the bill calls the war between the states.
Building, park.
Memphis city leaders this week took notice, renaming 3 parks that had ties to the Confederacy or to its leaders like General Nathan Bedford Forrest, who started the Ku Klux Klan. The action prompted a promise from a secret Klan leader on Memphis television.
Y'all are going to see the largest rally Memphis, Tennessee has ever seen.
Those associated with the Confederacy are often in very public places. Look no further than here at the Tennessee State Capitol, where Nathan Bedford Forrest gazes down on lawmakers. When you look up at that, what goes through your head and your heart?
You know, one of the things I'm kind of mind-boggled. It's kind of like putting a statue of Hitler on the lawn of a synagogue.
Strong words from Nashville Reverend Enoch Fuzz. He has been following the preservation bill and the reaction in his native Memphis.
How do you have Confederate Park in Memphis, Tennessee?
Sponsor Steve McDaniel has said, "We've got monuments on the Capitol grounds that I wouldn't have approved of putting there. Changing names or removing monuments could have the appearance of trying to rewrite history."
And I want to be sensitive to people who have a relationship to the heritage, but you should also be sensitive to people who were enslaved in America.
It's a very deep issue in places like Tennessee, where there's an old saying that the Civil War is still being fought. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.
The bill is scheduled to be heard in a House subcommittee next Wednesday. Its complete text is on our website at WKRN.com.
They take away what little bit we got left and block us in, we'll have to move.
We're going to be the ones who fought to move this city forward, and we're going to move this city forward.
While the mayor sounds like a man on a campaign, opponents think they have plenty of firepower as well. The fight is over what is called AMP.
And many are still just learning about the rapid bus proposal. It would run on new center lanes from the 5 Points area in East Nashville to White Bridge Road in the St. Thomas West Hospital area, about 7 miles away.
That short distance is already drawing a big fight. Chris Bundgaard tells us more about the issue.
You've probably seen signs like this one around. Now get ready for signs like these. Call it the Battle of the Rapid Bus.
First, what is it? AMP is a proposed rapid transit bus system from the 5 Points area in East Nashville to the St. Thomas area of West Nashville. But beyond the signs are the voices on both sides. There is the mayor, who headlined the announcement of AMP Yes on Friday.
We have a plan to keep this city moving, to keep this city growing, and to keep us all in this together, because it's all our city.
Opponents include the owner of a 136-year-old flower shop on busy West End by Vanderbilt.
My delivery trucks have to come out here every day. I mean, it's a zoo already. I can't even imagine.
But supporters do imagine a rapid transit bus, saying it will ease the growing gridlock from East to West Nashville.
It's not been hard to build momentum. 77% of Davidson County voters support bus rapid transit like we're instituting.
Others fear traffic lanes might be narrowed to make way for bus lanes in the center of busy streets. Here's a version of what a West End bus stop would do.
The lane widths have been cut to 10 feet, and the turning lane will be 9 feet. The lanes there currently, I measured personally, are 11 feet wide.
So would that be safe? We went to one of the traffic engineers who designed the initial plans for the AMP that do include narrowing some lanes to 10 feet.
Studies have shown that there's no appreciable difference in capacity or safety between 10 and 12-foot lanes in urban conditions.
Then there's a longtime Nashville lawyer who lives along the proposed AMP line.
And if I understand the rules, anybody coming this way wouldn't be able to turn left into their driveway along West End.
And those are just some of the questions from the Stop AMP people to the AMP Yes people. Get ready for the campaigns, signs and all. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.
The proposed $175 million project would be paid for by federal, state, and Metro funds. The federal portion is about $75 million, Metro $59 million, and the state $20 million.
In other news this afternoon, the look of Metro Parks could soon be changing a bit.
Yeah, Metro Council vote last night allows company names in Metro Parks if the business pays for the sponsorship. Chris Bundgaard talked with the man behind the idea and some people who may not be so sure about this.
So might you see a Greek yogurt brand emblazoned across the Parthenon, Gucci in the upscale Warner Parks, or Nike at city-owned ball fields? Well, not quite.
And that's not the intent of anything that got passed by council last night.
Metro Parks Director Tommy Lynch says the intent is to allow sponsorships of events or programs in Metro Parks.
It may help a kid, an at-risk youth. Someone may sponsor a basketball league.
Or maybe small company logos scattered on things like scoreboards at those city fields, all things designed to lessen taxpayer support of the park's budget. The parks director points to the mutt mitts at Metro Dog Parks where you pick up what your pet leaves. A pet company wanted to pay $30,000 for its logo on the mutt mitts, but by law could not do it.
And that $30,000 could have been used to fix an air conditioning unit in a gym.
Some park users, like this mother and daughter, aren't so sure about seeing company names around parks.
That would bother me.
Why?
Because it's a park and it's supposed to be natural, not business and all that.
Across town at Shelby Park, the operator of the Old Timers baseball facility would welcome certain company logos around the stadium.
And if we were able to post some type of tasteful banner or advertisement on their behalf, that makes the a little more bang for their buck.
The next step is for the Parks Board to hammer out sponsorship rules, and given the amount of people and pets who use Metro Parks, there will be no shortage of opinion about what those rules should be. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.
Now, the Parks Board is expected to take up the rules for sponsorship at its next meeting, November 5th.
The question for many in the city of Nashville was whether the production would shoot a second season on location like it did during the first year, instead of moving elsewhere for maybe a better financial deal.
Don't do that. You're beautiful.
But now no country heartbreak for the city of Nashville. ABC said Friday the show will continue to film in the streets, honky-tonks, and office towers of its namesake.
You are?
That's a relief to those who sell and promote the city and see the show as a moneymaker.
You can absolutely talk about $40+ million that they'll spend producing the show, and that's money spent here.
Nashville's executive producer tells News 2 it was always a priority to keep production here because this is an integral character in the show.
The show's Steve Buchanan said he appreciated the city and state stepping up, a reference to an incentive package for the production that's still being worked on. Last year's incentives are believed to be around $11 million, but a lot of groups are involved in keeping the show in Nashville.
The film industry, governor's office, the city, Ryman Hospitality, everybody was working in concert. It was a brilliant, unified effort.
We should change.
No.
Nashville is staying in Nashville. Now that's something to sing about. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.